Welcome back to Two Rail Fans. We are going to show you guys how to make spotlights for your layout today for less than $1 a piece. Now, we fully believe in sharing both our successes and failures with you guys. First thing I'm going to do is show you a clip of the spotlights that we were intending to light up with our last layout update. Please tell me that didn't burn it out. Uh-oh. Why are the spotlights on? This is a pair of spotlights that we bought from Woodland Scenics, and it was hard to tell what they looked like before we got them in the mail. And I thought it was something special with how the light functioned, and we made a huge mistake. And I figured, okay, there must be a resistor wired on the LED, and all of our lighting for the church building is connected to a single block, so we have a single set of wires leaving that building on the layout. I wasn't sure if we had a loose connection or what, but I was later able to confirm that we had actually blown out the light because there was no resistor. And I was very disappointed to see basically all that was inside was an LED bulb inside basically a plastic tube. There was a connection from here to the wiring that made it seem like there was a resistor in there. So I was able to repair these, but it kind of gave me the idea, why would you even buy these? Because this pair cost $14. So basically what I'm going to show you guys how to do today is how to make your own for basically less than $1 a piece. And we'll add up the final cost at the end. So there's just a few things you really need for this. Obviously you need an LED. So these are the LEDs I happen to have. That's what we've been using in our buildings. And they already have a resistor wired in. And basically everything else is probably going to be stuff you have laying around. You're going to need some black paint. You're going to need an old pen. And you're going to need an X-Acto knife. And you're going to need some black vinyl electrical tape. Now, these spotlights are great for aiming light directly at a building. Our plan is to use them on the church. So this is going to be a very simple process. So the first thing we need to do is take the pen apart. I'm sure we've all done plenty of times in junior high school. So just take the pen apart. The only thing we're really after is the tubing here. So I'm just going to kind of measure this. I'll make sure I have two that line up, and we're going to do them approximately the same size here. So just take your X-Acto knife. I'm trying to do it this way because I don't want to squash this. I guess I can always reshape it. I think I'm going to go get my razor cutter instead, so that might be a better idea. So use whatever cutting implement you want. I'm going to try this. I would just suggest trying not to squeeze the tube with anything. There we go, there's one. And there's a little divot in our foam there, but that's all right, we haven't even finished that part of the layout yet. And I'm going to take this from the bottom here because there's no lettering on that. Although we're going to be painting over that in a minute. Alright, so we got the second one. I got a tiny bit of stuff in here. So I could have used the X-Acto knife, but this is a lot quicker. So pick your implement, cut two pieces. I'm not going to worry about these being slightly uneven on this edge because that is going to go into the layout. And you're going to be angling this anyway. It's not really going to matter because we're going to have stuff sticking out this side. So the next thing we need to do is get these painted inside and out. And I'm going to see if I can do this without making a mess. I'm just going to try dipping. And I'm going to get this on my fingers. I know it, but that's all right. I'm going to do that side first. I should have put more paint in here. All right, so I'm going to let those sides go ahead and dry, and then I'm going to come back and paint the other sides before we move on to the next step. All right, these are drying. Got a little bit of paint pooling there. That's not the visible side. I'm not too worried about that. We can deal with that later, but I'm going to go ahead and dip the other side. And we're going to let these dry. You could obviously spray paint these, but I'm working inside. It's 100 degrees outside, so we're not spray painting today. So as those get a little tacky, I'll come up and clean those up. But we're going to let those dry, but there's something else we can do in the meantime while those are drying, and that's basically to prep our LEDs. This part of the process is pretty simple. So basically what we need to do is put some of this electrical tape around the LED here and the wiring to make a tight fit inside of this tube. And not only is that going to help insulate the light, but it's going to keep the LED bulb here centered in the tube, which is what we want. So we're going to go ahead and get these prepped while we're waiting for the paint to dry over here. So I want about half of the width of this. So I'm going to try and take this down the middle, see if I can do this on camera. So I'm actually making a pair of these. So I have 2 pieces of tape here, and I'm going to take the clean cut side and use that in towards the bulb here. So I'm just going to start this by going between the wires. So I'm just below the LED bulb here. And I'm just going to wrap this around. Now, you will probably have to remove some of this tape later. You just got to kind of measure based on the tube, the size of the opening. But for the time being, I'm going to go ahead and get this wrapped around and show you what it looks like. All right, so there's one, and we'll see if we need to do anything else later to either add or remove material. But let me go ahead and get the second one done. All right, so just wrapping around. And there we go. So basically these are prepped. We'll see if we need to do anything, either add or remove material. So I let these dry overnight, and Paint job came out pretty good. There's a couple small spots that might need to be touched up. This is the part that would go down into the layout, so if that's going to be covered up here in a second anyway. But you can always touch this up later. We're going to go ahead and see how these fit. And we're going to go in from the bottom. And you want it to be snug, but obviously you don't want to pinch the wiring. Alright, so you can see that LED is at the bottom of this and fairly centered. So there's only one. Let's go ahead and try this other one before we wrap that up. Go into the bottom here. Alright, so that's also in there pretty firmly. See, they're centered. So you want it to be firm, but you don't want it to be too tight, because that's where the resistor is on these. And by the way, I will leave a link to these in the description of the video. So the only thing left to do at this point, we need to tape over this bottom section here. Alright, so I'm just kind of going along the bottom here. It doesn't matter if it's super tight at the bottom. The point is to seal this area between the light and the exit at the bottom. So this would be neater if I had used the RTF stuff. And I'm just going to go ahead and seal this up right here too. So this section needs to be embedded in your layout. You may not even need to seal the end of it, because the way we're doing it, this is going to be in foam on the bottom of the church. So basically that's the process. There's the light. I'll finish this other one up off camera, but we're going to go ahead and set this up and see what it looks like, see how it works. Alright, here's the moment of truth, guys. This is actually going to work. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. And you can see that it has kind of a narrow path of light shining up to the top of this. So there you go, less than 40 cents a piece, just under 40 cents, because you're probably just buying the LED only. Probably have all these other parts at home. And just to stress, the key in here, I want to shine this into the camera. I'm going to go ahead and turn some lights back on here. So the key to this being successful, guys, is getting that light as straight as possible inside here, and also making sure it's not too close to the top, because basically all the Woodland Scenics lights is this tube with the LED inside, and the portion at the top just keeps the light focused in a direct path. So I suppose you could use smaller or larger tubes to make the light less or more focused. But hope this is helpful to some of you guys. Appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.